We join our families together. We start a ballroom studio, the Fancy Dance Studio. Yes.
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready.
That came out organically. That was like a very
just one day we were like, one take.
The Fairly OddParents are back in live action. Kristen here, and we are chatting with the cast of the Fairly OddParents Fairly Odder about all the brand new things that you can expect in this new Paramount Plus series. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. You guys have been playing Cosmo and Wanda for like 20 years. I can't even believe that number. Like,
what are you trying to say?
You look no older than 20.
That's what I thought you were trying to say. Okay, yeah.
You've been doing it since you were born. I'd love to hear from you guys, just like what makes these characters so special for you and what kind of encouraged you to want to come back for, another series.
First of all, the writing, and the fact that once we established these voices, and things changed from that pilot episode, the first Oh Yeah cartoon, where Cosmo was very much a used car salesman. We're magic, ooh. And then when the show got its big pickup, and then they sort of reimagined the main characters, the two fairies, and they just turned it on its head. He got 1,000 times louder and faster and crazier, and for some reason, not nearly as bright. But it's, as I've said many times, I think it's because he has that childlike, happy energy, and it's just so much fun. You don't know what to expect. However, we know things will work out, and that's the longevity is the love between these two characters, and eventually doing the right thing, although it takes a while to get there.
It was a surprise, but a great surprise to be doing this and to see it with real three-dimensional people singing and dancing their hearts out. And I think these characters, well, first of all, every kid wants to be granted a wish. And every kid wants to be made to feel special. So when you have Viv, who's this kid who's just kind of doesn't know her way in the world, and of course her stepbrother, who's the hot kid, on the block. But so I think every kid can relate in some way to one of these characters, even though it's in the most bizarre situations.
Were you guys familiar with the original Fairly OddParents animated show? And what can you tell us about this new live action series?
I was definitely a fan of the original. I have two older siblings, so of course they made me watch it, and I've probably seen almost every episode. It was definitely one of my favorite shows. I'd probably say, what can I say about the new series? I guess it's the same Dimsdale that everybody knows and loves. It's probably gotten a little crazier, if I'm being honest, now that it's in live action.
I didn't really know too much about the show, but I've seen a couple episodes before I got the audition, and I thought it was sick. But my brothers and sisters watched this when the first episode came out, and they loved this show, and they were like, "You have to book this, you have to book this," and and I was like, okay, and it's such a great show, and I think that people are gonna love it.
My character Ty Turner uproots his old life to rejoin with his high school sweetheart, Rachel Raskin, played by our national treasure, Laura Bell Bundy. And we just had so much fun. They each have kids, and so it's a blended family, and they just have a crazy time in the wild town of Dimsdale.
When I found out about this and I got my audition, I think I want to say I watched about 30 episodes. I mean, I watched a lot to try to also understand the tone of what this world was, and how we could translate this heightened world of Dimsdale and all of the adult characters. You see all of the adult characters and how they're popping off, and how Timmy Turner is relating to them, and how he needs wishes in order to survive them. So then you have our world, and I think it's just sort of ironic that yes, it's Fairly OddParents and it's fairy godparents, but also the parents are fairly odd. the transition from fully animated to animated live action is that we're also bringing in this consistency of heart and family that I don't think was in the animated series, but is in our world, is in our version of Fairly Odd Parents, Fairly Odder.
And you guys play these step siblings with very different personalities. I love that already you guys had such a great bond in those first episodes we got to see. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about each of your characters and just what it was like working together on set.
Like you said, Viv and Roy are definitely very opposites. She's an old soul. She's a little shy. She's definitely tries to stay out of everything. And it's funny seeing them come together. She becomes such a family with these, Dimsdale people. And she sort of, I guess she sort of stays the same, but she gets a little, she can call Dimsdale a home, I guess, by the end of it.
Every day of Roy's life is like the same thing, He goes on, he has his boys cheering for him, and then he's scoring baskets. Everyone tells him how great he is, and he just wants to change. And when he meets Viv, it's like he finally sees something different in Dimsdale, and I mean he definitely changes throughout the show because now that he has his own stepsister, Viv.
Audrey Grace, I wanted to ask you, since you said you were familiar with the show, I've already noticed a couple fun Easter eggs. You got the Tad and Chad poster in your room. You got the Crimson Chin poster. Are there any other nostalgic moments that you kind of hope come up, or even things that maybe you'd want to try to recreate from the animated show?
If I could recreate something, one of my favorite episodes is probably Shiny Teeth. I'd love to have something like that. I'd love for Viv to have some sort of superstar Shiny Teeth moment.
I hesitate to answer that question. There are moments and people and characters that I'm hoping will show up, and I can give nothing away. Except what has already been given away in the trailer.
Only Paramount Plus knows.
I was wondering, if you guys have any favorite scenes or moments over the past 2 decades that stand out for you, whether from this new series or from the past, maybe just any favorite moments.
Darren, you know what I was going to say. It's when we sang our love duet.
She's right. It's no contest. When we got to sing our little love ballad, Floating with You together, that is such a huge memory because not many people know this. I met Suzanne. I didn't really meet her, but I saw her on stage in a production of Forbidden Hollywood.
That's right.
And she absolutely had me crying, laughing. She was the most versatile, funny, talented thing I had seen in maybe forever. And I just went, who is this woman? And then years later, we get to work together, not just once, but for 20 some years now. So how lucky am I? How lucky am I?
This guy is one of the funniest people I've ever met and the biggest heart. So, and just the tremendous talent. He always had us cracking up when we were doing recordings. Sometimes when we're not supposed to crack up, but that's what made it a joy. It was just great. But I love you, Darren.
I love you.
I love it. I love it. And I mean, going off of that, I mean, you guys, are able to really transform your voices. Could you give us a little tutorial, what goes into the process of kind of bringing the Cosmo and Wanda voices out of you?
I've had the vocal cords of a Galapagos Island turtle or tortoise inserted into me so that my voice will never change and I will never die. Kidding. I think it's a gift. I can't take credit for this. I can't take credit for the ability to change things up on the turn of the screw. It just happens. So yeah, that's a gift.
I think most people in voiceover have a pretty good, strong musical ability and can, really hone things. When we first did the Fairly OddParents just for Oh Yeah cartoons, we were given pictures of them, and I just sort of went with that, and I don't know how she became this.
In addition to working together, you guys are working with some incredible people, characters who have been on this show for decades, and some incredible Broadway superstars. Did you guys learn anything new while working on this show?
The fact that I get to work next to Laura Bell Bundy, the Broadway superstar, was amazing because, I mean, you know, just to like watch her do her thing when she's like reading her lines, or even like helps me. She sometimes helps me, like tells me like what would be funnier, or like how to say the line, and you know, she's great. She's the best, and I'm learning. So I even learned from Audrey. Like, she just is so smart. She thinks everything through. She's I love it.
This franchise has been no stranger to famous boy bands, with NSYNC's Chris Kirkpatrick playing the iconic Chip Skylark, and I feel like you're coming in kind of in a similar vein. Dustin Lumberlake, another parody of an iconic pop singer. What is that like, kind of joining in that kind of capacity? I feel like there could be a lot of, just like really fun places you can go with this role.
Honestly, it's great. I love that I get to play a sardonic pop star who heckles these kids all the time. It's great. I have fun with it, and we all had a lot of fun together. And after I think it was a couple episodes in, and I had walked past Chris and Sam, our showrunners, and they were like, "Hey, we were just talking about you," walking out to our cars. And I was like, "Just so you know, I know that this character is based off Chip Skylark, and I've been dying on the inside that I get to be Chip Skylark, but now as Dustin Lumberlake. So just so you know, I'm really happy."
Yes.
And so it's very exciting. And, I'm not going to lie. I've heckled them a little bit about my shiny teeth in me and Icky Vicky and being like, these songs have to come back at some point because they're kind of iconic. And I sing like 6 songs in this show, so I feel like we could sing one of those. Who isn't a fan of 90s boy bands? And I get to be the head of the Council of Pop Superstars. What a title. Now I get to feel like the Fonz because they brought me back so much. So I'm really happy. I'm just happy to be here.
You guys have, amazing Fairly Odd Parents. If you could wish for something, if you had your own Fairly Odd Parents in real life, what would you guys want to wish for?
If I had my own Fairly Odd Parents, I think I'd probably wish for a second season. I always try and think of something that would be like, like be a superhero or a princess, but really I think that's the number one thing on my mind would be a second season.
Oh, I love that. Yes, I'm rooting for that too. Consider subscribing if you like my videos, and if you want to talk more TV and movies with me outside of the comments section, check out the exclusive Discord available on my Patreon at patreon.com/kmaldo. If you like this one, you can check out more of my videos right over here. See ya!